Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Tying Flies with Old Florida Fly Shop. Today what we have in the vise is a foam palolo worm. And worm season is coming up in the Keys, and this is when all the tarpon kind of stage up for a massive worm hatch. And it all happens towards the end of May and again later in June. And this particular fly is a foam version that floats and creates a nice wake on the surface. And our customers have had tremendous results with this particular fly. It was originally brought to me by a customer who I believe got it somewhere in the Keys and brought it to me to redesign a little bit and tie a bunch for him. And that was probably about 5-6 years ago. And it's just, again, been one of our best flies for the particular hatch. So let me go through the materials real quick. We're going to use a Gamakatsu SL12S size 1. We're using brown thread, 210 denier. We have 3mm foam. This is rather important. I like using this 3mm foam from Wapsi. It's a little stiffer than a lot of other 3mm foams. It allows for less fouling and good action on the water. We have a 20-pound mono weed guard, and that's Mason, and then ultra chenille for the head and body. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll throw our Gamakatsu SL12S in the vise. And what we're going to do is we're going to start right behind the head. And we are going to travel back to right above the hook point and let that thread hang. We're going to take a piece of mono that we've straightened out already and get this little tag end off, and we're going to place it on one side and kind of want to get it right on the shoulder, and the mono is going to extend out almost to the hook eye, and we wrap one side down, and then we're going to fold it around and we'll wrap back on the other side. And you want enough room so that the foam stick will pull through. So what you can do is you can, if it's too short, you can pull it out with your bobbin. If it's too long, you could suck it back in from the tag end. Okay. Usually I want it a little bit past the end of the hook. So we'll cut our butt section off, and then we're going to take our foam stick. Now the way I make these is it's 3/8 inch wide, and the best thing to do is to take a full sheet and mark them out every 3/8 of an inch, and then use a paper cutter to cut them one by one. And that is the most consistent way I've found to get consistent sized foam strips. You could also use a ruler and a razor, and it will work fine, and it'll work for a couple flies. But if you want to do a whole batch of them, typically I'll run the whole package through the paper cutter, and then I have a whole batch, and you get 3 pieces of foam out of the package, and I would guess you get probably close to 70 sticks out of a pack. Just guessing, but you get a lot, and it's real easy to cut them all up at once and then move from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the stick in the tail guard. This helps the fly from fouling. And I'm going to go almost to the end. It's going to stretch out a little bit, so I'm going to go almost to the eye, and I'm going to just take one solid wrap, and then I'll do 3 more wraps and make 1 wrap in front. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ultra chenille, and I'm going to just strip the end off so I have a nice place to tie it in without a lot of bulk. And we'll tie this in right in front of our tie-in point and wrap forward a little bit. And at this point, the first wrap, I want to kind of cover that thread wrap. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 wraps here. And I'm going to pinch this with my hackle pliers and just put it off to the side for the time being. And I'm going to pull the front of the foam stick over the top. And I'm going to take 1 wrap And now I'm going to just tie it down moving forward. All right, and you want this almost all the way to the front. I'm going to work my way back just to tie that foam down and go back to the front. And we'll stop there. And then we're going to wrap our ultra chenille, and this size is medium. And we're going to wrap this forward. You can use whatever chenille you like. I just like the profile of this particular chenille. And typically I like tying this on the bottom. And I'm going to just take 3 or 4 wraps. Do a nice cut. And then I'm going to just finish off the head. Now the head here, it's okay if you do a little bit larger than your normal head here. These particular worms, they have a little different color head from the rest of the body, and it kind of, tarpon can key in on this. I know guys that will tie this in chartreuse. I know guys that will tie this in blue, and whatever color floats your boat. I feel like I do the brown because it's a little bit more natural looking. All right, once you got the head done, we're gonna just do a quick whip finish and cut your thread. Okay, so now we have this stick here, and what I want to do is I want to trim it down to about 2 inches long from the tail. So what I've done here is I've created just a pattern with 2 inches, and I'm going to lay this down on my sheet of paper, and I'm going to just lay the base of the tail at the base of the paper, and wherever that line is, that's where I'm going to create my angle. So what I do is right at the line, I'm going to just create a little taper here, so it looks a little bit like a taper here. And then all I'm going to do is just take the corners off. So I'm going to just slice it, and if you feel like one side's a little bit longer than the other, just adjust it, and you have your finished worm. So real simple pattern that catches really big tarpon and really big fish, and they just go crazy over these things this time of year. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching the Foam Palolo worm.